For quite a while, I have been telling you about one of my favorite people of all times, Mayor or Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who is a bona fide cretin, an absolute Boeotian of the first order, somebody that I never even thought could possibly be allowed to drive a car, much less be a mayor or supervisor. And the absolute circus, the circus that erupted at the Thornton Township board meeting. You've seen this. Please, you've seen this. Was not just an embarrassment. It was a full-blown indictment of Tiffany Henyard's disastrous, not leadership, but her sense of being, just who she is. What was supposed to be a routine local government meeting turned into this absolute thugocracy, a meeting of savage, thug, cursing, violence, this off-the-chain Jerry Springer lunacy, an unhinged spectacle of criminal unprofessionalism, personal vendettas, and outright physical violence, all the time being peppered with profanity and this quasi-English gibberish that just I've had enough of. I've had enough of this. After having listened to Dank the Tank, unable to put together a sentence from people who were born in this country, not somebody learning English as a second language. And who was at the center of it all? None other than Henyard herself, the so-called township supervisor, who decided apparently that her best course of action wasn't to lead or to show leadership, but to literally, and I use this literally jump into a brawl and a fray, fisticuffs. Because why govern when you can throw hands, right? When you can slap people and curse and lose your wig and lose your shoe and act like an animal. Like an animal. This is bizarre. And it's accepted. And the best part is that nobody feels a concomitant sense of embarrassment. This debacle doesn't just materialize out of thin air. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. No, it was the inevitable result of the toxic, self-serving, self-dealing culture that this moron Henyard has cultivated within Thornton Township. A responsible leader would have de-escalated tensions, maintained order, ensured that the business of the people was handled correctly. You know, the stuff that you do when you're in office. Instead, this moonbat, this benighted, subliterate Henyard and her inner circle, this coven, this consortium of cons and thugs, which conveniently includes her boyfriend, they chose to behave like a gang defending its turf, like some kind of Crips and Bloods or a thugocracy. The fact that this fiasco happened during a meeting meant to address long overdue, listen to me, governance issues like the township's leadership, but also like the township's tax levy ordinance and insurance. It makes it all the more disgraceful. It's as if these fundamental responsibilities are nothing more than kind of afterthoughts to Henyard and her cronies who are pretending to have a meeting, who are pretending and play acting, kind of a cosplay for governance. It's the most incredible thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, they're more concerned with their own power plays than the well-meaning of their constituents. I don't think they understand what governance means. I really don't think so. And let's talk about that inner circle for a moment, shall we? You know, when the dust finally settled, when both figuratively and literally, the board voted to put two of Henyard's closest associates and friends and cronies, including her boyfriend, on paid leave. If that doesn't scream corruption and nepotism, what does? This is a supervisor who has clearly mistaken public office for a personal fiefdom when accountability is non-existent and loyalty is rewarded at the expense of taxpayers. It's not just that Henyard is failing in her duties. She's actively making Thornton Township a laughingstock. She's a mockery. She's a child. She's a subliterate, submental child. And if ever there was a reason when words that are being unearthed and dusted off like retarded apply, it's to her. You ever heard her speak? Have you heard her? What planet is she from? She's was the mayor of Dalton. This is the township and the cities. And of course, Henyard has yet to make any coherent statement on the matter or any coherent statement about anything. Her attorney has been eerily silent, likely scrambling at this moment to piece together some narrative cobbled together that doesn't make his client look like an unhinged disaster, which she is. But no amount of PR, no spin, no BS, no nonsense could possibly erase the fact that the supposed leader of Thornton Township personally inserted herself into a physical altercation at a public meeting, jumping into the fray, losing her wig and her shoe, getting in there, slugging it out. Meanwhile, the residents who actually rely on their government to function are left wondering, what the hell's going on here? How exactly they ended up with a township supervisor who treats criticism as an excuse to throw decorum and apparently fists and chairs out the window. Tiffany Henyard, her promise that services will resume today is beyond laughable at this point. The real question isn't whether township supervisors and services will be restored, I should say, but it's whether the residents of Thornton Township will ever be able to restore an ounce of credibility to their local government while she remains in charge. She hasn't been indicted. Beetlejuice, Lori, what's-her-face, the freak from Chicago, she did an audit. She says the money's unaccounted for. But hey, look, at least they can count on the township meetings doubling as free entertainment. Too bad that entertainment is coming at the cost of actual leadership and governance, and basically a complete disregard for decency. I mean, this is beyond anything I've ever seen before. And she's not been indicted. Lori Lightfoot, that's it. Beetlejuice, that strange earthling who came in to do some type of audit. Nothing's being done. Meanwhile, the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, who himself is also cretinous, can't speak English, he's being indicted in federal court for basically getting upgrades on plane tickets. Now, look, I'm no fan of his, but that? Dear God. Let me explain something to you, my friends. This is bigger than anything. But we live in a country right now that's so worried, so supercilious about raising a hand and being confused for some type of Hitlerian acolyte that nobody would dare touch this because you'll be called racist. This has nothing to do with racism. This has to do with reality. You know what else I'm learning? 87% of the people who watch my videos don't subscribe to my channel. 87%. That's just plain wrong. So do yourself and me a favor, my friend. I ask you, I beseech, I implore, I ask you once again to do everything in your power to join me. Join me right now in joining this message that we have here at Lionel Nation, and subscribe and like this video and hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, my friend, I ask you to comment as you see fit.